Good Monday evening, everyone. Welcome to Garden State Weather Premium on YouTube, Garden State Weather on Facebook, and Garden State WX on Twitter, although I have not been on Twitter today. Very busy schedule. Probably be back sometime during tomorrow. In the meantime, we'll take a look at the observations tonight on this Monday, the 24th of January 2022. I'm meteorologist Robert Smith, and we'll get into the forecast going ahead and some changes, obviously. Right now at the Weather Center, it's 31 degrees and cloudy. Here in Rutgers University Meteorology Program in New Brunswick, it's 32. The wind is out of the southwest at 1, gusting to about 2 miles per hour. Chilly spots right now this hour at 6 p.m. is Charlottesburg at 27, 22 at High Point Monument, 24 at the base of the monument, Vernon Township at 24, Sandyston at 26. Atlantic City Marina is the warm spot at 35, and it's about 34 in Harvey Cedars, Pissaukon, Moorestown, and Cherry Hill. And we do have some snow, which is coming in. It's showing up as on the radar. This is actually snowing in here throughout the Poconos. We're seeing some reports now coming in. This is still Virga here in northwestern New Jersey. I had not seen any reports just yet of snow falling in this area, but definitely it is out here in the Poconos this evening. And let's go back here. And temperatures today. Well, maximum temperatures today did pretty good. Upper 20s to low and mid 30s, just about where it should be at this time of the year. And the minimum temperatures this morning in the teens and low to mid 20s across the region. And we're getting some NPING reports of snow reaching the ground here at Scranton and Wilkes-Barre, also around State College. This is all snow in here. This is the State College radar, KCCX, and also Pittsburgh. And these areas here also reporting some light snow. We can change this over to Fort Dix here, and we're seeing some decibels here, very light, so this may not even be reaching the ground yet here, but it is here around Allentown and the Poconos. Let's see what else we have for you. Up near Binghamton, we have the snow, and it's coming down here around Binghamton as well. So this clipper is moving through very quickly, and just going to have a dusting, maybe a half of an inch at the highest elevations of northern New Jersey and the Poconos here, but everybody else should see just another dusting of snow, mainly north of 80 once again for tonight. And parts here into Connecticut, the Hudson River Valley area, and northeastern Pennsylvania as well. No watches, warnings, or advisories, and most of the snow that does come through this evening north of 80 here down towards Allentown will be on the light side, maybe 1 or 2 hundredths of an inch, maybe 3/100ths of an inch here in Wantage, maybe up to a half of an inch here in Mount Pocono. But again, if you're traveling late tonight, early tomorrow morning, most of this will turn into black ice. So if you are traveling late tonight in these areas, do be mindful and keep a safe distance and monitor your speed. Right now we have some rain down south around Louisville, Kentucky here, but all of this here north of this is snow, and it's breaking out in a warm air advective pattern. These were the snow totals today across Wisconsin, Indiana, Michigan, parts of Ohio here as well that is coming in. And here was our upper low that was here. Now it's this big Gulf storm here setting up here across Dallas down to Louisiana, south of Houston, and along the Gulf Coast ports here. National temperatures here this hour, Eastern Daylight Time. It's cold across Canada, and of course the northern plains here into northern New England, where temperatures are basically running in the teens and 20s, 30s as you head south of the Mason-Dixon line into the 40s, and of course Florida is being warm, and this area is warm too in the central and southern plains and across the Baja and into portions of Mexico as well this evening. 24-hour temperature changes here. Well, it's warming up ahead of the clipper, and it's cooling down as the next clipper comes in across the upper Midwest and southern and central Canada during the last 24 hours. Okay, just found out the Canadian Model Guidance Environmental Canada is having some missing data problems, but right now we're just going to use the 1 kilometer NAM model guidance here. going forward. Let's move this up a bit. And through the evening hours here, let's see, let's move this back. Move it back, move it back. Okay, here comes the light snow. Now the operational HRR is even less than this over northern New Jersey, but just taking this for an example and moving this here, which would place us around 11 o'clock tonight on Monday. Let's just do a sounding of the region. And that sounding is going to show some saturation here from 700 millibars down to about 800 millibars. And then there's quite a bit of spread here in the dew points here as we head into the evening hours, into the overnight hours. There's not a lot of moisture here to deal with. We'll get into that in just a moment. So this forecast looks pretty good. And cold front, it's going to get cold around here on Wednesday. We could be dealing with wind chill advisories again, but not really seeing any kind of precipitation until the weekend, and that's still in question as well. A cold week for sure to be had by all after the trough and basically the short wave moves through, that clipper moves through tonight. Tomorrow's temperature is going to plummet back into the upper 20s to low mid 30s, maybe 40s along the coast and into the city. The big change comes on Wednesday as the secondary cold front comes through. Temperatures in the teens north and west and basically below freezing everywhere, and that below freezing mark is going to last into Thursday and Friday. Finally getting into the above freezing in the city and out on Long Island, maybe interior Connecticut, excepting northwestern New Jersey, probably north of 80 again. And well, then we go back into the tank again on Saturday, back into the teens, 20s, and freezing. And that will set the stage up for what could be a prominent coastal storm here. Not here so much, but maybe for eastern Long Island and maybe for southern New England once again. There's quite a spread in the operational and the ensemble spread as well. And here we are with the water vapor channel here. And here is our storm system out here over the Gulf. Here is our clipper coming in from off of the Great Lakes now and into the Ohio Valley. And on this warm air advective pattern in front of it, we're seeing some rain on the southern side here through Kentucky, but all of this is light snow. And the water vapor channel is very light, simple water vapor. So this is not deep moisture here. This is deep moisture down here in the Gulf, in the yellows and darker greens here. This is all deep moisture here, but this is very light moisture here in the water vapor channel. So there's not a lot of precipitable water value to work with, but the temperatures at 925 millibars and 850 millibars are supportive enough for a dusting to a trace of powdery snow, but this doesn't look too impressive to me right now. This is our regional low-level water vapor channel here, and you can see the precipitation here in the green. That's precipitation. The blues here, that is indicative of the water vapor channel. It's very light. Okay, so we're not dealing with a lot of moisture here. Winds are coming in from off the ocean here and the streamlines, and that is because this is our area of low pressure. This is our clipper system, and this one in particular will be moving a little bit further north than the other one from yesterday, and that's the reason why we're not going to see too much precipitation here. And then high pressure building in right behind it on a northwest flow. Cold air is on its way. If we dial this back and take off the radar, mean sea level pressure in that, take a look at the temperatures. And they're pretty uniform right now. They're still cold. I mean, it's 14 to 28 degrees from north to south here, but the real chill is coming just to the west. And probably the best way to do this, and we do have some watches and warnings here out in Pennsylvania. Some of these are going to expire tomorrow morning as that snow comes in, but we don't have any watches, warnings, or advisories here in New Jersey or the New York City metropolitan area, the Philadelphia area. Present weather, station plots actually. Oh, well, no, maybe don't want to do that. Yeah, we have some fog, we have some light snow falling in these areas here. This is all showing up on the present weather chart here. You can see the watches and warnings here, especially over Pennsylvania here, where there's a winter weather advisory in effect until 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, and that's for 2 to 4 inches of snow And we've also seen a couple of inches of snow already in some of these reports coming in from just today from Cambria and Somerset counties here until 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. So you do want to be careful if you're traveling in these areas, and especially here in northeastern Pennsylvania, northern New Jersey, north of 80, for some slippery black ice conditions. And up close with the temperatures across the region this evening, take off the base map here. Again, this is all ahead of the cold front and the shortwave clipper system, if you will. And behind it is Arctic air, well, polar air actually, almost Arctic air up in here. Some of this will modify as it makes its way east, but it's going to be cold. And there's a secondary boundary coming in that could allow for wind chill advisories to be in effect, or a special weather statement to be issued from our offices here in New Jersey, New York, and Philadelphia for Wednesday. Hold on. Off this afternoon's NAM model guidance here in the New Jersey, New York, Philadelphia I-95 corridor. Here comes the cold air on Tuesday, first bleeding in slowly throughout the afternoon, and then as we head into tomorrow night, Tuesday night, and Wednesday morning at 925 millibars, about 3,000 feet or so up in the atmosphere, -12, -14 degrees Celsius temperatures at that level, and up at 850 millibars, about 5,000 feet, which makes all the difference. Again, very cold air coming in, some 15, 16, 20 degrees below 0 Celsius. So Arctic air is going to be in place, but what I wanted to look at is the wind chill temperatures. And right now, there's not much of a wind chill, but that's going to change as we head into Tuesday afternoon and Tuesday evening. That's when the wind chills are going to start howling in, and it's going to make the real feel like it's 17 to 23 degrees. It's going to feel like it's in the single digits and teens across the Poconos, and some of that air is going to be with us during the day on Wednesday, particularly as you get into the wake-up hours here. 9Z, 12Z, 10Z in the morning, it's going to feel like it's 7 to 10 to 13 degrees above normal. It's going to feel like 0 in parts of the Poconos and New York State and northern Pennsylvania here. And that cold air, real feel temperatures do not improve throughout the day on Wednesday. It's going to feel like it's in the single digits to around 12 or 13 degrees above, and that's not going anywhere. It's going to be quite cold around here on Thursday, Wednesday night, and Thursday morning, and it's going to feel like it's even colder, like 1 degrees. 0 or 7 degrees below 0 here across northeastern Pennsylvania, northern New Jersey, upstate New York, the Hudson River Valley area, and interior Connecticut. Bundle up. 18Z European model guidance hasn't come in yet. The NCEP GFS has at 18Z, but we're going to look at the 12Z data first. Again, positively tilted trough PVA at the bottom of the trough here. Okay, swings it low and hard in a neutral position off the Carolina coast, then goes negative into southern New England. Okay, that was 12Z. 6Z does the same thing off the Virginia Capes and the North Carolina coast, and then up out over the coastal waters where it swings it into southern New England. 18Z model guidance, again, sees the same kind of thing. Neutrally tilted, less amplitude of a southern branch connection here, and then it swings it off into the Atlantic. So this is even further east than all of the other model guidance. Hold on. The NCEP, the European model guidance is 18Z run. The operational or the ensemble has not updated just yet. But the ensemble package from the GEFS, the North American model, has. And we're looking at the 18Z model run spread of the low pressure centers. This is further south now and further east. And notice on the left-hand side here, there is less of a spread of this touching the coast, except for perhaps southern New England. Okay, dialing this back to 12Z this morning, it had a lot more members here on the left-hand side, but the circle here is where the main centers were supposed to be congregating around. The 18Z sees this even further south and clustered here now with little contribution along the coast. So this is a big change. And if we dial it back to the early morning run, again, the same kind of situation as the 18Z model guidance is. So 6 and 18Z probably not the ones to trust here. I'm going to stick with the GFS from 12Z, which has the most operational support of data. Unlike the halfway, the 6 and the 18Z pairings here. So not saying that, we're not going to see snow here, but we're still confused on just who and where and when. So as discussed in the previous video forecast discussions, there's going to be some kind of a front coming through here on Friday, which is going to reinvigorate the Arctic air that's already in place as we get into Thursday night and Friday here. And then that wave comes up and low pressure comes up from off the Carolina coast. It's off the 18Z model now. So the something gets incorporated here, but the low now bombs out so far east on the 18Z GFS. This is the operational now, and it provides snow and a snowstorm for southern New England once again with a 976 millibar low, and out that goes. The 12Z model guidance did the same kind of thing with a wave or a front coming through, and then along comes the storm off the Carolina coast, and it's deepened closer to the benchmark at 985 and produces snow throughout the New Jersey, Philadelphia I-95 corridor all the way down through the mountains here. 6Z had the same kind of thing, even closer to the benchmark, and last night's run, again, too far east. So what are we learning from this? We're learning that the models are adjusting themselves accordingly, and we just don't have the answers yet. But I'm thinking that, this is a southern New England coastal storm, indeed. And the air behind it, it's cold. No matter how you slice it, it's cold. Saturday night, it's going to be in the single digits and teens again. And there's no room for recovery here until we get into next week. This was the 12Z model guidance for snowfall, 10-to-1 ratio. Obviously, it may not be a 10-to-1 ratio given the cold polar air mass that will be in place, but let's just assume a 10-to-1 ratio here. This is what the model guidance was showing at 12Z. But that's a different tune now, and it's not resolving itself. And it's thinking that the heaviest snow now will be on the interior portions of Massachusetts and Rhode Island into Maine once again. And the 6-0 Z model guidance did the same thing with high snow totals, but models are going to correct themselves because a west or east based shift in where the center of the low is and the greatest impacts are going to be felt in terms of snowfall. But snow is not the only thing that we're worrying about. We're also worrying about the winds. And when we looked at this morning's model guidance off the GFS for this weekend, again, very strong winds offshore, northerly component on the west side. This is a deepening low pressure area, so we're going to have strong winds somewhere, especially out over the ocean and the Cape. When we looked at the 18Z model guidance for the winds at 10 meters, this will tell us a lot. And again, it's showing it now further off of the ocean and away from the coast as well, as the storm develops further to the south and east here. So interesting times are ahead. I would say it behooves everyone to pay attention for Friday night and Saturday here in the northern mid-Atlantic up to the New England coast here. Any shift in the forecast guidance, and remember, the pieces of this are still out over the Pacific. And, there's a lot of things that have to go right here in order to make this a west-based snowstorm along the coast here and down the spine of the Appalachians, or whether it's going to be a New England and ocean special. We just don't know that yet. And it's probably going to take until Wednesday morning before we get the guidance to come into better agreement as the area is better sampled. We don't have a lot of satellite sampling data here off the West Coast. Doesn't matter which model you're using, the European or the GFS or the Canadian. And so we're going to have to wait until that time to make corrections to the forecast and probably solidify a solution that makes the most public sense. And the chaos continues in the teleconnections as well. When we looked at last night's model guidance of the North Atlantic oscillation, we only saw a surprise here briefly between February 1st and February 5th or so on the operational NCEP GFS. And the European model guidance was basically neutral to above. So the only blocking signatures here during this time frame were being shown by the GFS. Now, when we get into this morning, it's less so on the GFS and goes back into a positive state, but the European model guidance now sees it going a little bit negative through February 3rd. So something is awry here, but still, this is all confusion. And the 12Z model guidance on the Arctic oscillation shows it tanking either in the ensemble, in the high resolution, in the NCEP GFS, and also in the GEFS, the ensemble guidance here during this period. So something could happen under this, but I'm not so sure under this. And by the way, this doesn't make the most sense to me. Cold air here does, that's for sure. Now, the other thing, well, let's check the EPO out. Wow. If you want to see volatility, go back to last night, and this is volatile. And then you go into this morning, this is even worse. Volatility on both spreads of the European model guidance in one camp and the EPS mean here in a positive state, and basically the GFS camp here and the operational camp here. That's crazy. I mean, this is delusional. PNA from 12Z this morning. Let's go back to last night. PNA looked pretty good. No, actually no. This is wrong. You want the ridge axis to be here in the positive state, and let's look at the 12Z model guidance, and this doesn't look good either. So there's a lot of volatility in this forecast, and all the pieces really have to come together in the right way. I'm not buying it. So here we are at the end of another video for Garden State Weather Premium on YouTube, and at the end of the video you can subscribe to our channel here for the latest information, the latest updates on videos. Also on Facebook you could subscribe and like us on Facebook as well as Garden State Weather, and on Twitter you can follow us at Garden State WX. I'm meteorologist Robert Smith. We'll be back with more details in the ever-revolving winter of 2022.